Hey gifted crafters, welcome back for another Saturday CrafterNoon. Thank you all for tuning in. I see all this excitement going on in the chat, and that just makes me so happy. I'm so glad that you guys are, interacting with each other and just keeping all kinds of tips and trips with each other. I see you guys enjoyed the trivia. Yeah, it was a little bit tough today, but I think you guys did pretty good. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and I host these weekly live sessions to talk about all things crafting. We range from crocheting, knitting, sewing, embroidery, and just so much more. So it's just a nice little fun place to just share some tips, tricks, and ideas, and just, get some things going and interaction going out with our community. So with that, let's just go over to the chat and say hello to a couple of friends I see out there. I see Amy Bliss. I see Annette. I see Crafting with Robin. We have two Donnas, Donna Booth and Donna Phillips. We see Jackie Hallman, Jenny Owens, Judy Bauer, Nana, 31331, 1 Minute Tips, Quilty Brownie, Rita Edge, Robin's Quilt Basket, Sassy, and I think I got them all. It was kind of going pretty fast, so I'm not sure if I missed anyone, but I'll be checking in and out on the chats in case you have questions, comments, and I'll try to catch them as they come. So guys, I love my holidays, so we've got a couple holidays out there that I want to make you aware of. So it is National Doggy Date Night. So for those of you who have those little doggies, they may want to have their little date night tonight. I thought that one was really cute. It is also National Women's Physician Day. So for you women physicians that are out there, give a little high five to all the women physicians out there. They do a great job. I also wanted to give you guys a little reminder because there is a Sewing and Quilting Expo that will be going on in Lakeland, Florida, and this is on March 14th, 15th, and 16th. I will be attending. I'm not sure if I'll do all 3 days or just 1 day, but I'm just kind of making the plans now. So if you're in the area, please check it out, and hopefully I'll see some of you there. And if you are interested in maybe kind of getting together, just send me a little email, type it in the chat, and we'll try to see if we can get together and then, try to see what fun things they have here. So I know a couple of you already have told me that you're going to be going, and I'm really excited, and I hope that this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure we're going to learn a ton of things there. They've got all kinds of vendors and things that you can try out. So it looks like it's going to be a great time there. So I hope you can join. It's in the Lakeland, Florida area, but they do travel to different states and they go throughout the year. So if Lakeland, Florida is a little too far for you, just check out their website. Let's see, the website is Quilting and Expo, Sewing and Quilting Expo. If you just Google that, it'll take you to their website, and they have the list of all the different locations that they'll be and the dates and times, so you can get some more information there. So check that out. Guys, it's just amazing how this is our 76th live, and I was just really kind of thinking back of all the different lives that we've done, and it's kind of amazing how we've done so many things. And I think that, it's just so much fun, and I really want to just thank you guys for all of your support. I really truly appreciate it. It's been a super busy time for me, and I've had a lot of work going on, and so it's been really hard to kind of get in here and do some things. But I do have a couple things that I want to share with you today. But let's take a quick look back at what we did last week. So last week we did a Super Bowl table runner, and we talked about the different alternatives that you can use to make that table runner. Things from the Dollar Tree, there's all different types of nicks and knacks that you can use to make this. So as Super Bowl is coming up, people are kind of gearing up and getting their plans ready, getting their decorations ready. This is a really cute and easy way to set something up for your fans that are coming over and just kind of, have some fun with it. So if you didn't get to catch that, that was live number 75. So go ahead and go back to watch that one. So what do we have this week? Well, I have a couple of things. It's been, like I said, really swamped for me this week, but I wanted to do a really quick unboxing on something that I was able to get. Let me just pull it out here. Okay. So it's something that I just got off of Amazon, and the reason that I got this, it was just something that I needed. You guys know I have a Sencho and an adding machine, and there was a lot of things that were kind of annoying me because my yarn bowl wasn't deep enough to hold the yarn while I was cranking away, and sometimes it would get all tangled up, and I didn't like that, you know, maybe it would drag on the floor. So I looked up getting a yarn holder, and so I was able to purchase this one, and this is what it looks like. And it looks like a pretty easy setup. And what I really liked about it, it has a little magnetic clip. So it kind of just holds your yarn as you are pulling. So let's say if you're crocheting or if you're knitting or if you're using your Sencho or adding machine, you can load up your yarn on this yarn holder, and it will basically be like if someone was holding the yarn for you and just kind of passing the yarn over to you without it hitting the floor, without it getting all tangled, without it, you know, having to yank on it and stuff. It's just, I think, a nice way for someone to kind of feed the yarn to you. So I was able to get this, and I thought that this was just an amazing thing for me that I really, really needed. So I was really happy that I was able to put this together. So now let's take this out because it's really not, it doesn't have like a ton of pieces. It's really simple. And it looks like I could just put this together pretty easy. It does come with the screwdriver, and the screwdriver itself comes with 2 little screws on here. So that's really all it is. It's just 2 little screws and the screwdriver, right? So then you also have, and let me just kind of turn this over on this side so you guys can see what I'm doing here. You've got like the base of the holder itself, and then you also have the base of what kind of dangles and holds the yarn. So that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 little pieces, and then the screwdriver with the screws, and you're good to go. So that's kind of exciting that it's really quick. So let's put this little thing together because I'm excited to see this now. Okay, I'm gonna take out the screwdriver and the 2 little screws here. And it was relatively inexpensive. It really was not a lot at all. But I think it's going to be so useful for me. So there's a little slot where you would just put it in. And it looks like you would just screw it on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Put that in. Grab the little screwdriver that it comes with, which is nice. I don't even have to look for a screwdriver. There we go. That's nice. That was really quick to put together. You can see there. And then this is where the little magnet is on. And then this bottom part is just where you put the screw in. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Just get my little screwdriver here. Okay, just tighten it up a little bit. Here we go. So that's it. It's just 2 little pieces. And then what you do is you're going to take the magnetic tip and you're going to tap it. And so you can see here, it kind of moves around a little bit there. You can see that. And I kind of like that because this now will just hold my yarn. And I can pull on it. I can do whatever I want to it. And it's going to just flow. And it's not going to get touch on the floor and get stuck. So I think that this is perfect for exactly what I need it. So what you would do now is just, it's magnetic. So you just pull it. And then I've got a bowl of yarn here. Actually, I've got two. Let's look at this one first. This is just my crocheting yarn. And I'm just gonna, let me just pull the tag off. Pull it on here and then just there. And then you just pull it. See how you could just pull it and it'll hang. So now as I am crocheting or as I'm knitting or anything, you know, it's just going to be pulling it from here. So imagine if you're working with your Addi or your Centro machine, you know, sometimes you've got the yarn like down on the bottom because you got to keep kind of pulling it. And you don't want it to pull too hard because it'll change the tension on your project. Well, this is one of the great things about it. It's because it's kind of hanging freely. You're really not going to have any tension. So your machine will start to pull it and it won't be any tension on there. So I think that's great. So that's on the crochet yarn. Let's take a look at the other yarn that I have. And this is just a yarn that I kind of threw together here. I'm just going to throw it on here. Again, it works on any type of yarn. See how you can just pull it and it just rotates. It's not gonna, you know, get all knotted on you, and you can easily feed this through your Addi or your Centro machine, and I don't have to worry about it tangling or, you know, having enough yarn pulled out so that it doesn't cause any tension issues. So I think this is a really nice way of kind of helping you out with tension, because I know a lot of people have issues with tension on the Addis and Centro machines because they're not sure, you know, how to do it. But I really like that it kind of holds it in place for me, because the yarn bowl sometimes is great, but sometimes it depends on the yarn that I'm using and it didn't really hold it very well. And I really like that this kind of just hangs. It's almost like I have another person just holding the yarn for me and kind of feeding it through. So I thought this was a really nice little gadget, and I went ahead and got it, and I just wanted to show that to you guys. So let's see. Oh, Donna says that would make a good device for holding twine, ribbon, etc. while crafting. Exactly. I almost think of it like another hand, right? It's like I just need someone to kind of hold something for me, and then I can pull it without having to undo something to be able to pull it. So anything that you can kind of fit through this little spindle thingy, you know, you should be able to kind of just put on here. And then with the magnet, it'll hold it in place and you can just pull and go however you need to go, right? So I think this is really a nice little gadget to have if you are into crocheting, knitting, using your Centro knitting machine, or like Donna says, you can use them for ribbons and things like that. So it depends on the project that you're doing. I think it's a great way to be able to kind of get that extra hand when you need it sometimes. So I wanted to show you that. I also wanted to show you, you know, as we were like looking for little gadgets and things that were going to help me out on certain projects, there is one project that we've been kind of playing around with, and we were kind of trying to find a way to bind fabric and yarn together in a way where you can make different items. So I have a small little thing I'm going to show you guys. A little teaser almost. I haven't gotten this out yet, but this is going to really change the way people think about the projects that they make for their addies and their centros. This is like our top secret little project. So I hope you guys like it. I'm putting together the tutorial on this, and I think this is going to be like a game changer. There's so many things you're going to be able to do and make with your addies and centros machines, because you're now going to bond your fabrics with your knits and sew them together, which is just kind of unheard of, because you think of the knits, you know, the knits are going to have holes and, you know, they're not really going to bind to the fabric. Well, we've had to kind of, went through a lot of trial and error, and we were able to kind of figure out how we can bond the two together, and we were able to do it and made a little project with it. So let me just give you an example of what we have here. And I kind of have it stuffed in here, so I'm not going to take the whole thing out, but this is coming. Remember, this is kind of top secret. But as you can see, one side of this item is knitted, and then the other side is fabric. So let me show you here. So you can see this is the fabric side. I have a nice little fabric, and I have the yarn on this side, and they are sewn together. You can see that nice little seam, very, very clean and crisp, and I was able to make my project. So I think that this was just really a game changer. It really allowed us to be able to make different items with this, and you can do all kinds of shapes and things for this. So really, really great. I'm putting together the tutorial on this. Remember, it's kind of our little top secret project. I know that once this goes out, a lot of people will be doing all kinds of things with their yarn projects as well as with fabrics, because just bonding the two together and being able to sew on them and make all kinds of things is really going to be a game changer. There's so many things you're going to be able to do. So I hope that you guys really enjoy that. I'm hoping to have this tutorial kind of wrapped up hopefully sometime this week, but you'll be hearing about it more soon. I'll let you guys know, and I'll also put some notifications out when we're getting ready to get it out the door. Okay, I see some people are pretty excited. Oh, this is great. Yes, 1 minute tips. She says, oh my, Miss Nancy's been tinkering. Yes, I kind of like to dabble and try to figure things out, you know, not just the typical following the instructions on how to do things, but I kind of like to think out of the box and kind of figure out how to put things together. And one of my passions is the love of yarn, knitting, crocheting, and that kind of thing, but I also love sewing and quilting. So just combining the two crafts together was really amazing for me, and I really am excited about it, and I hope you guys will really love it too. Let's see. Oh, Boricua Sewing and Crafts. Hey, you can definitely see me making blankets using this method. Yes, definitely. Definitely. That's you know, it's just so many things that you can do combining the two together. Let's see. Annette says, my grandmother used to do that. She used to do it on the end of pillowcases. Yes, but it's really difficult to kind of do the edging as crisp because it is a knit. So because you have a knit, it doesn't really play as well as a fabric would. So there's a process you have to go through to be able to combine the two together so that they will really hold and stay in place. So I'm really excited about that. Oh, Judy says, looks like a heart pillow. Maybe. Yes. Let's see. I can see a new style of baby blankets coming. Donna says, I have no idea where your tutorial will be going with this idea. Excited to see it soon. Thanks, Donna. And let's see, do we have any more? Oh, a lot of people are saying they're doing all kinds of other projects with beanies and scarves on the machines. That's awesome. Now just imagine all the things that you're doing on that machine, whether it's a caddy or essential. You can kind of think of it as adding a second layer to it and having the fabric behind the actual knit. So sometimes, you know, people will knit, let's say, a panel, and you can see the holes depending on how your tension was. But think of it like, wow, I can make a panel and then put a piece of fabric behind it and then attach it to something. So it's just, it's mind-blowing on so many things that you can do with the process. But I'll go through all of that in the tutorial that I'm putting together. I just was excited and wanted to give you guys a little bit of a tip on that. So I hope you really enjoyed that. Okay, we still have one more thing that I want to get to. Let me just see if I missed anything here. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to do, and this was just something I wanted to kind of do with you, and I thought it would be something really cute. So we know Valentine's Day is coming up, and everyone, you know, has their little sweethearts that they want to either send a little card to or, you know, maybe spend some time with. So I thought it would be really nice if maybe we got together and made a couple of cards using fabric. So we have a couple of ideas for you, and you can use all kinds of different materials for this. So if you have a Cricut machine, you can cut up all kinds of shapes and sizes and place that on the card, or you can just use a pair of scissors. That will be totally fine as well. And if you have some pinking shears, that's another great way to kind of spice it up and give it a little bit of a design. So I'll just give you quick examples of some stuff that I just kind of threw together at the last minute here. I've got here a little bit of cardstock paper. I went ahead and sewed my, you can see here, did like a little zigzag stitch. And so I sewed on a piece of fabric to the cardstock paper, and then I kind of, with my nail, and you can do it probably with a little brush or something, you can kind of brush off the raw edges so that you can get a little bit of a fringe. So let me just show you some of that fringe here. So you can see here, and I continue to rub a little bit, and I'm still trying to get as much fringe as I can on that. So you can just keep rubbing and get that little fringe. Remember, we looked at the Chanel also. You can also use some of that to get some fringe on there as well. But this is just a piece of fabric that I put on to a piece of cardstock, and I went ahead and I sewed the heart on here. So it's like a little applique. But if you don't want to sew, you don't have to. You can also just take some heat and bond. And I know we've talked about this product before. It's really amazing. It's great to create some applique pieces and put some things together. So here, this is just a roll. Now this is the Heat and Bond Light, and it comes about 5.25 yards. So it's giving you a generous amount. It is really a lot of heat and bond. You really don't need a lot at all. So I've had this roll for quite some time, and I use it on occasion for my crafts, and it goes a long way. So there's all kinds of heat and bonds though. There's different types. You've got Heat and Bond Light, which is the one that I'm using for this project. So this is what the label looks like. And they have other ones that are like a stronger adhesive to it. And really all this thing is just a way for you to be able to glue things together without actually using glue, right? So if you look at the Heat and Bond, once you kind of unroll it here, and you know what I'll do? Let me just cut a piece to show you guys. So it comes in the roll. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece out. I'll put a generous amount here. I don't think I need the entire length, so I'm going to cut it here. This is a real rough cut here. just to kind of get this roll out of the way. So you can see here, now on the heat and bond, what you get is one side of is like a paper side, and then the other side has, if you run your hand through it, it's very bumpy, so it's got like the glue side. So what you're going to want to do is to take a piece of fabric, and you can just use your scrap fabric. You can use any kind of fabric that you have. You guys know that I have my little scrap bowl here, and I've got all kinds of scrap fabric here in place. I've got half square triangles. I've got all kinds of things in here. This is truly just a scrap little basket for me. And I was able to just kind of take this, move this over to the side, and I just took a piece of fabric and I cut it out in the shape of a heart. Now, there's all kinds of different ways that you can do that. So you can freehand it. So let's say you wanted to, let's see if I can find a piece of scrap fabric here. If I wanted to just take this scrap fabric, I would just kind of fold it in half. And then on the folded edge, what you can do is you can either draw it with a heat erasable pen, or you can just kind of freehand it. Now, I'm going to kind of just freehand it on here, but you're just basically going to make the shape of a heart. So back when we were in school, when you were taking these little classes and you were little and they were making, you know, you were making little gifts for your moms and dads and things like that, you'll remember to just do a half heart. So let me just draw it out in case. Now, this is a water soluble marker, but that's okay. It's just kind of for demonstration purposes here. I'm going to go ahead and just draw the heart out like that, and it's that simple. So just again, so you guys can see it, let me just try to make it a little darker. I'm doing my half heart here. Oops. Here we go. And so you see a little half heart there, and then I'm just going to take my scissors, and on the fold I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. You can use a rotary cutter if you like, if that makes you more comfortable. It's kind of whatever it is you want to use, and you can be as creative as possible on this. This is really just a fun craft. You can get the grandkids involved, you know, to get the kiddos to do little projects, because it's just a lot of fun. You want to get your Cricut machine out. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. You've got tons of shapes and things that you can cut out with your fabrics. Now, I did a little kind of chubby little heart here. So there's all kinds of different hearts that you can do. If you're not, too crazy about it, you can kind of trim it down. Maybe this one's a little bit too big. Maybe I want to trim this a little bit. I'll just go ahead and cut it some more. And there you've got a little heart. So this is great, and what you can do is you can go ahead and take a piece of cardstock paper. So just a little piece of cardstock paper, you can fold this in half and do it in the shape of a card. If you don't want to do it in the shape of the card, you can totally leave it just the way it is and not fold it. Or you can run this through your Cricut machine, or maybe even with your scissors, you can do a nice little pinking design, pinking shear design. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. And you want to make sure that the creases are nice and solid. So let me just grab, I've got my little Cricut gadget here. I'm going to go ahead and just make this nice and flat. I want my crease to be nice and flat and not bulky. Or you can just use a nail or just something flat. Just run it towards the end so that it will just enhance that crease. Right? And so now you've got the shape of a card. Now you can take your scissors here, your pinking shears, and go ahead and go around and just cut the edges off. You know, go ahead and just keep cutting. And this will just give it a nice little design that doesn't make it look like, oh, she's, you know, it's just a piece of paper. This just gives it that little extra. And then I'm going to go towards the bottom part of it as well. There you go. Okay, just get rid of this here. Okay. So we've got the card with the edging now. Looks a little bit different, and it doesn't have to be totally perfect. You know, you can just wing this. If you want to even make this card in the shape of a heart, you can do that too, and just kind of outline it here and just cut out a heart. That would be another great thing you can do. Right, so it's really just a matter of what you want to do. There's so many different things that you can do. And so now you have kind of like a little blank canvas. So you want to be able to kind of decorate it. And so maybe I'm going to want to put a heart on here. This may be a little bit too big, so maybe I go with this one. You know, there's all kinds of different ones that you can use. Maybe this one here. And so I'll want to put some heat and bond on it. Now, when you're using your heat and bond, there's different ways that you can do it. Now, I actually prefer to take a piece of fabric and cover the entire amount here, and then I will cut out whatever pieces I want. But some people like to cut out their fabric pieces first and then, you know, put it on the heat and bond. It's however you prefer. The only problem with doing it this way is that when you're putting your iron on it, you don't want your iron to get all the gunk on it here. And so you got to kind of be careful, you know, on catching some of these things. So I think the easier and safer way of doing it is to just grab that piece of fabric. Let me see if I can grab one from here. Okay, I'll just grab a piece of fabric like this, and then you're going to want to just put it on that heat and bond. So let's just say we're going to use this one here, right? So let me just grab my little board. We're going to go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to need to use my little mini iron. So if you've got a little iron in place, you know, you'll need an iron for this, because that's what will seal the glue on the heat and bond over to the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and just plug this in. Hang on. I'm going to have to see it. Alrighty. So I've got my little iron going and it is heating up. And I like my little mini iron because I can do these little mini projects together. It makes it a little bit easier to put things together. So I've got my heat and bond with the glue dots facing up. So the scratchy side is up, and I'm going to put my piece of fabric on top here. And let's see. Okay, it's pretty hot. Now, when you're using this, the key to this is you're not going to be ironing all over the place. You're just going to be tapping down your iron onto the fabric and then picking it up and moving it, because you want that heat to activate those glue dots so that it will adhere the fabric to the heat and bond, right? And so here, once you have it kind of all set, you'll see here it's now bonded to the paper here. So now I can go ahead and iron it around because it's already bonded. And that's it. That's all you need with this iron. So really quick and easy. Now on the back end, you're going to have this paper side, so you can go ahead and peel that paper off. And it's going to leave this little shiny kind of film to it. This is what's actually going to adhere to whatever piece you're trying to make. So you could take it off. As long as you don't kind of iron it, it will not stick to anything. Or you can leave the paper on until after you've cut it. It really doesn't matter. It's not going to stick onto itself unless there's heat attached to it. So let's move this little iron over to the side. And let's go ahead. I'm going to move my little ironing board over. And now you can go ahead and cut out the hearts. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to use my inking shears to kind of freehand a little heart. And again, you guys can use anything that you want. If you have a template, you can print out a template. They have tons of templates that are for free out there. You can use a template, you can freehand it, or, you know, you can use your Cricut machine as well. So once I have that, I have my cute little heart here. And so now I'll just take my card. And all you do is position the heart wherever you want it on the card. Maybe you want the card to open up this way instead. You know, if you want to add a background to it, you can certainly do that as well. The other thing that you can use, maybe you don't have that much fabric, if you have felt, you can also do this with felt. Felt will adhere very easily with the heat and bond, so you could use this as well. So, you know, it's really up to you on how you want to do this. If maybe I'm going to put a piece of felt here, I'll just take this piece of felt and maybe I'm just going to kind of cut a piece off here. So I'm going to grab my little rotary cutter and I'm just going to freehand this. Just cutting it, no special way. Right, I'm going to go ahead and cut just that little piece off. Nothing pretty, this is just something that would work. I can take my piece of heat and bond and adhere it to this. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll bring my little mini ironing board back. And if you guys like the little mini ironing board, we've talked about that in one of our other lives where we made these. It's very easy to make and they're nice and compact. You can put your cutting board, have a little design board area and a little other mini ironing board, and it has like a little gap in between so you can kind of fold it over, and it's kind of these little handles so you can kind of take it, you know, like on the go. So it's just something that kind of put together, and I think, you know, it's just something I like to use a lot because it helps, especially when you're doing these little projects. I'm going to go back to my iron. I'm going to go ahead and use my felt, and I have another piece of the heat and bond here. I'm going to go ahead with the glue side up. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this piece of felt to the heat and bond. And again, I am picking up the iron and putting it back down. I am not gliding it across, because if you do that, your fabric could move and it'll just could be a kind of a little bit of a mess. Now, once you know that it is all adhered to the paper, like seems like this is, and sometimes it may curl up on you, you can kind of flip it over and use the paper side to go ahead and glide the iron all around. That would work as well. So you can do that and then just kind of flip it back again. And now you can kind of just iron it down. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and move this back over. Now what you're going to do is kind of the same thing. You're going to peel away the paper. And you're going to see you'll have that shiny side. I don't know if you guys can see that a little bit there. A little bit of the shine. And this is kind of like the glue that's going to adhere to the cardstock. So we'll go ahead and take our card. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. Now I just freehand cut it, so it's not any specific shape. But I'm going to let it kind of overhang the cardstock. I want it to kind of be over, because I think I'm going to go back maybe with my pinking shears and just kind of go around and cut. So let me just grab this little ironing board again. And let's adhere this felt to the cardstock. So we've got our iron. Again, I'm going to just tap it up and down. Get the heat going on this. Now I can start moving it across. Looks like it's already taken. And then I can flip it and actually iron the other side just to make sure that it did take. Kind of like to do it both sides. And you can see here that it did. It's not going to go anywhere. And so let's just iron that again. And I'll flip it here. Okay. So I've got one side of my card. Now I'm going to trim some of this off. So let's go back here. I'm going to grab a ruler and just on the fold, I know that I'm not going to be trimming it there, so I want to trim this excess off. So I will grab my rotary cutter. Here it is. And trim that away. Whoops. Nope, I guess I didn't do it hard enough. Hold on. There we go. There we are. And so now we've got our card, and what we can do here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the little heart. And let's see. Where did it go? Here it is. So we've got our little heart with the heat and bond on it. We can go ahead and position it wherever we want. Now, because I cut this with the pinking shears, the little corner here is not really well defined. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And I'm just going to grab my scissors and barely cut a little tiny point on here. I just want it to be a little bit more defined. So now I've got that little V going in the middle. So just a tad that I cut off. And then I'm going to go ahead and position it here onto the card. And again, grab my little board. And I'll go ahead and hit that with the iron. And that will now adhere the fabric on to the felt. And so now it's kind of all together. Now, the other thing you can do, this is paper, but you can still take this over to your sewing machine if you wanted to do a nice little decorative stitch all the way around. Now, on this case, I didn't use the heat and bond. All I did was take this fabric over to the sewing machine and did a zigzag stitch all the way around. And I wanted it to kind of fray. So we did some of that. But if you wanted to do it this way, you could. The other thing that you can do is add a little bit of batting behind it to kind of give it that 3D puffy type of effect. So you can do that as well. And you can continue to do more. Like this was one that I did. This is just plain on the paper itself with the heart. You could see that one is just kind of put together. But I think it looks nice with the felt on it, right? And you can continue to decorate this. I have tons of other little pieces that I can put here, all kinds of little hearts that I cut out, and you can continue to just build on and throw little things together. It's really up to you. You can have as much fun with this as you want. This is like a little tree. You can do a little tree of hearts if you wanted to, and you can just go crazy with this. I mean, it's just a lot of fun to do. And you know, it's something that you can give to a loved one, and it's something that is handmade, so it's just a little bit more special than you going out and just buying a card. So we've got some hearts here. We're going to rearrange them here a little bit. And grab my little iron again. Just go ahead and put the tree down. I've already put heat and bond on these so they will stick. And that's it. I got a little card. You know, it's nice, really a lot of fun. You can have your grandkids cut them out and then you do the ironing, you know, so they would really love this. This is a lot of fun to do. I can go ahead and now take my thinking shears, and if I wanted to just kind of redo my edges, I can do that here. Yep. And so you have your edges all nice and cut. You know, you can make this just, even if you wanted to do, instead of a card, you wanted to do just, I don't know, a little portrait of something. You can do a sewing machine and do, you know, you can put your name. We can do all kinds of stuff on here and just kind of hang it. So it's like a little portrait thing that you can do as well. But I think this was just a cute little project that I think the grandkids and kids would love to do. And it's just a great way to spend time with family. So you can now take this and just write whatever you want on the inside. You know, put little messages, or you can put it through your Cricut machine and do all kinds of things with that as well. So just a little quick little tips on these holidays that are coming up, and you can do so many things with your loved ones, with the kids. You know, keep them active, make sure that you're spending quality time with them and doing all kinds of little knick-knack projects with them, because I can trust me, they will definitely enjoy it and they will remember it when they do get older. So let's see if I see any questions out there. Oh, 1 minute tip says, I can't imagine how many crafts we've done together because of Miss Nancy. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad. I am so glad. I'm trying to encourage people to really spend time with their kids. I know they are all so distracted with all of the gadgets that are out there and things. You know, get out there and do things with your kids. They're not going to be kids for very long. You know, enjoy the time with them, because I'm telling you, they will cherish it. They definitely will cherish that moment. So I think it's a nice little way to kind of get together. They don't have to come out perfect. These are just, you know, little gifts, and I'm sure they will love to spend time making with you, and you'll have a lot of fun putting them together with them. So that's it, guys. I really didn't have anything else, but I really hope you enjoyed our little project, and I think that this will be a lot of fun for you to spend some time with some loved ones. Thank you all for tuning in. and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye!